What's up all the people on the internet? My name is Milo and this is DailyPlus. Hello everyone once again and welcome back to DailyPlus, your favorite show about everything Eurovision. Today we actually have a little bit of both Junior Eurovision and Eurovision news. We of course have this week's fun fact and we have the song of the week, so let's get started. Like I just mentioned, we actually have a little bit of Junior Eurovision news. The Junior Eurovision is still many months away, but we finally know who's going to be hosting the show. This year the show will be once again hosted in Malta. Malta won the Junior Eurovision last year and are now on their way to stage the show once more. Last time they staged the show was in 2014 in the Marsh shipbuilding. However, this year we are going to the capital of Malta, Valletta. The show will also be seeing some changes in the format when the Junior Eurovision rolls around this year. One of the main changes is that the show will now be held on a Sunday, more specifically the Sunday afternoon of the 20th of November, especially because the show is usually very late, especially in some of the eastern countries, and it can be a little bit of a problem when you make a family show to have it on in late evening time. You can of course read everything you need to know on both our website and Eurovision.tv, and at this year's Eurovision Song Contest in Stockholm, PBS, the broadcaster in Malta, and the EBU will be holding a joint press conference to let us know everything we need to know about this year's Junior Eurovision. Last year Malta won with their star Destiny and her song Not My Soul. Last year the show was held in Sofia in Bulgaria, and this year we're going to Valletta in Malta. We also have some news from last year's Junior Eurovision host, because Bulgaria is getting ready to launch their national final for this year's Junior Eurovision. This year it will only be the Bulgarian broadcaster BNT, as opposed to last year when they collaborated with BTV. Kids from all over Bulgaria can now send their songs in, and the first step towards finding the Bulgarian representative will be taking place in May. It's also important to note that the Bulgarian final that's being held on the 11th of June will only be held to choose a representative and not the song. The song will later be composed by the singer itself and some Bulgarian songwriters. Last year Bulgaria hosted the Junior Eurovision. They hosted it in Arena Ame in Sofia in Bulgaria, and the whole program was hosted by this year's Bulgarian representative of the Eurovision, Pole Genova. Now for some news. We have great news coming from Portugal. Portuguese fans were worried when it was announced that the Eurovision would not be broadcasted on Portuguese TV. Now they have decided to change their mind after the broadcaster held a meeting with the EBU. And now the Eurovision Song Contest will be broadcasted live. Both semi-finals and the final will be broadcasted on RTP, the Portuguese broadcaster. It has been said by the Portuguese broadcaster that it was originally not going to broadcast the show because of how much it costs, being that they already have shows such as the Olympic Games or the European Football Cup that also cost a lot of money to broadcast. Portugal is not taking part in the Eurovision this year. However, they have already said they will be back next year. Who would you like to see represent Portugal at Eurovision? Let us know down below. We also have a little bit of interesting news from Bosnia and Herzegovina, because last week it was reported by Bosnian media that a huge fight had happened within the Bosnian delegation, and this could potentially threaten their participation at this year's Eurovision. Now luckily it wasn't that bad. The full details about this fight have of course not been published by the medium, but many of the people involved in the accident has spoken out to let us know that everything is okay. The only thing that will be changing is that the composer, who supposedly was the reason for this big fight, will not be joining the Bosnian delegation at the Eurovision in Stockholm. However, all the singers and of course the Bosnian head of delegation has said that the country will indeed be participating in this year's Eurovision, so no worries there. This is the first time since 2012 that Bosnia and Herzegovina has taken part in the Eurovision. Are you excited to see them back? Let us know down below. And we also actually have a little bit of better news from the Bosnia and Herzegovina, because the official music video for Ljubavje has now been released. Take a little look at the video right here. Bosnia and Herzegovina and their song Ljubavje will be performed in the first semi-final of the Eurovision Song Contest 2016 in Stockholm in Sweden. And finally we have some news from Spain. A couple months ago it was announced that Beret, the Spanish representative for this year's Eurovision, had signed a deal with Universal Music to distribute her music. Now this week on April 22nd she will be re-releasing her latest album, Throw the Dice. The album will feature her Eurovision song Say Yay, along with remastered versions of some of her old songs. Now as a bonus track, this CD will also include the song Who Plays the Drums, which was the first song that Beret sent to the Spanish pre-selection, before sending in Say Yay, that was later chosen to represent Spain in the program Objectivo Eurovision. You can listen to a little bit of Who Plays the Drums here, and you can let us know if you prefer that song over Say Yay.
Taking over my shoes, get into my roots, I'm a wellness
Spain is one of the big 5 countries, meaning that they'll automatically qualify for the grand final of the Eurovision. That was all the news. Now let's get to today's fun fact. Eurovision is getting bigger and bigger every year. This year we see 43 songs being sung on the Eurovision stage. But how many songs do you think have been on the stage in general? Well, we don't know the exact number, but ever since the contest started back in 1956, there has been more than 1,400 songs sung at the Eurovision. If you ask me, that's a lot of songs. If you were to sit down and listen to every single Eurovision song, it would take a long time. A Eurovision song is roughly around the 3-minute time. So if you do a little bit of math, it would take you 4,200 minutes, which is equivalent to 70 hours for almost 3 days. 3 whole days where you had to sit and do nothing but listen to Eurovision songs. That is, if you want to listen to every single song in one go. Are you up for the challenge? By the way, don't actually try that at home. I think it would be very hard to listen to songs like 3 days in a row without any sleep. Anyway, let's get to the song of the week. In today's song of the week, we're going back to Eurovision in 1993. The Eurovision Song Contest 1993 was a very special contest in that it had the smallest host city ever. Ireland chose to host the Eurovision Song Contest in Mill Street, a very small town that actually had a big equestrian stadium, which was the perfect place, according to the Irish broadcasters at least, to hold the Eurovision. However, it became very special to the Irish public, as their singer Niamh Kavanagh gave the country a win on home soil. So I thought, why not listen to that song? Today's song of the week is Niamh Kavanagh with In Your Eyes.
Suddenly an open door I never saw before. In your eyes I see the light leading me home again. It's heaven in your arms, my love. My heart is in your hands.
In Your Eyes was the second Irish winner of the 90s. The 90s is also known as the golden age for the Irish, as they managed to win the contest 4 times in 5 years. Well, there you go, that is all we have for Daily Plus this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like and a favorite, and click subscribe button for all the cool things we do right here on esc+. And if you want all the latest Eurovision news as soon as it comes out, then remember to check our website, esc+.com. We have all the latest news, we have exclusive interviews, we have polls, we have everything you need, so check that out when you can. That's all I have for this week's Daily Plus. See you next time.